Now, Dr. Phil Hammond is back with us this morning. Welcome back.
Hi there, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm very well. You sound a bit husky.
Good, I know, a bit of a flu today. I do apologise. And we're going to talk about Christmas today, because Christmas, it isn't a happy time for everybody. Everyone presumes that it is, and it's not.
No, I mean, there's a huge expectation that Christmas and this year, the millennium, should be a great time. But part of the problem, actually, is that people find it quite hard to be squashed in one room with their relatives for 48 hours. You talk to psychiatrists and people in casualty, they get quite a surge in business around Christmas. So it's not always happy, and of course for some people it's particularly difficult because they've suffered crises and things during the year.
Absolutely, and we got 3 letters this morning. Phil, you have one there.
Yeah, this is really sad. This says, Dear Emma and Steve, every time anyone says Happy Christmas, I feel tears in my eyes. My dad died of cancer this year, and I can't bear the thought of Christmas without him. I'm worried that I'll cry all the time when I should be helping my sister and mum be happy, but I think I might just make it worse. What can I do? Please help me. Have you ever felt like this? And that always makes me cry reading it. My dad died when I was 7, and it is a very sad time, and you will always feel sad at family times like Christmas and birthdays and things, and that is a normal part of grieving. You know, you should feel sad. What you need to do is you need to share it and tell your mum and other people in the family how you're feeling. I think the thing that helped me most when my dad died was, and I'm not a religious person, but I had a feeling that he was always there, and always at family times I thought, what would he want me to do? And I knew that he would want me to get on and be supportive to my mum and my brother, and I knew he'd want me to have a happy life. And so when I was feeling sad, I always had that thought in the back of my mind, and that really helped me.
Okay. I got one here, Dear Live and Kicking. I think that all holidays are a problem if your mum and your dad don't live together. At Christmas, my mum thinks that me and my sister and brother should stay with her, but my dad thinks we should go to my nan's and be with him. They say horrible things about each other, and that makes us sad. They both say it's up to us which house we want to go to, but we think it would be really mean. Who should we go with?
Who's that from?
This comes from Tom.
Well, Tom, again, it's a very difficult situation, and actually for children, a divorce can be just as traumatic as a death, and it's often just as hard, because often there are feelings of guilt and blame, and sometimes children can blame themselves, sometimes they blame the parent who's left, and that's the last thing you want to do. Once you blame or you feel guilty, then things will always be difficult. It's also difficult if parents are ever competitive, and that can occasionally happen, and it's really important that you have a good time with each parent, but you try not to take sides. What's often hard is that the parent who looks after you most of the time, usually your mum, often can't afford the things that maybe your dad can give you, and your dad may just see you on occasional things and give you really nice presents, and that can cause a lot of conflict when you get back. So you don't want to get drawn into the argument, but you have a right to see both your mum and your dad and to enjoy their company, and you've got to say what you want, and again communicate. Say, I don't want to take sides, I don't want to fight, but I want to have a good relationship with both my mum and my dad.
Yeah.
And again, talk it through with your brothers and sisters as well, so that you're all saying the same thing. I think it's very hard.
It is very hard. And speaking of not having too much money, our last letter, Dear Live and Kicking, am I the only one that doesn't really look forward to Christmas? It's because of my mum. I know how hard she tries to make it nice for me and my 2 little brothers, but she doesn't have enough money. Because my dad is gone and he doesn't give her any money. We try not to ask for anything because she cries a lot, because she can't buy us nice things like all the other kids in school.
That's Amy. Well, the brilliant thing about this letter, Amy, is that you understand what the problem is, and the first step in solving a problem is understanding it. And you know your mum doesn't have much money, and you know she feels really bad about not being able to give you the things that perhaps other parents can give you. But you also realise, actually, that it's not the money that's important, and that's the real message about Christmas and all family events. It's the people in the family rather than the gifts and the presents and the material things you give each other. And if you tell your mum that, look, the presents really don't matter, what matters is us together as a family, once you've broken down that barrier, you can then do quite creative things together. You know, you can make presents quite cheaply, you can make cards and things. And my mum always used to love the cards and presents that I made myself far more than anything I bought.
Brilliant. Now, if you would like to write into Dr. Phil, if you have anything at all that you'd like to ask him, write into us on our usual address. It's What's Up Doc, Live and Kicking, PO Box 8181, London W12 6LA. You are, of course, going to be back in January.
Talking about bullying.
Talking about bullying.
So, but you write to us about anything you like.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Have a happy Christmas.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in January. But right now, it is over to Steve.